Hello and welcome back to Take Refuge 3D with me, Peter, and I thought let's make a Cyberpunk Ghetto Blaster in Plasticity. Now, I'll just get everything prepared, and welcome to everybody that's joined so far. Okay. I'll just get the chat up on the screen. And here we are in Plasticity. And some time ago, you may have seen this before in one of my thumbnails, I made a cassette. Quite a while ago actually, and I thought it would be kind of cool to make a... it'll be kind of cool to make something for the cassette to go into. So, hang on. We'll bring this over, and I just got just some AI made. At first I thought I was going to do like a retro future, like a 1960s one, but as we go through these, there's a few different designs here. I quite like this, but it's a little bit not sci-fi. Let's just make this a bit bigger. And just going through these, this is just the shape of a cassette, and going through these, I think I really want to try and make this one, because it, like this one here is cool, but it would take me quite a while to make this. It's got quite a lot of details, and I don't think I've got the time really, but this one here has got enough details in it, and really it's just it's pretty cool, to be honest. So I think we'll crack into Plasticity. Okay, and I just want to if we just get this off the screen and go into Plasticity, what I really want to do, I'm just going to save this as a new file in a new folder quickly. And we're going to call this Cyberpunk Ghetto Blaster. Okay. And we'll call this Ghetto Blaster. Okay, so I can get a measurement from this to work from. And say hello in the chat if you're here. And also holler at us. Tell us where you are in the world. It's the morning here in Australia, so I guess if you're anywhere else in the world, you are a degenerate night owl. So what I'm going to do first, I'm just going to find the measure tool, and we're just going to measure the cassette side to side and pull this measurement across, which is 5.96 meters. So probably want to scale everything down. Okay, to actually let's Google how wide is a cassette tape? No, how long is a cassette tape? In centimeters. Ten centimeters. So we want to scale this down till it's 0.01 meters. Approximately. Actually, I want to do 0.115 or thereabouts. 0.115. Okay, perfect. The reason that I'm doing 0.115 is because I want this to be a little bit stylized, and it's I want this to be a little bit stylized in its making. And one way of making things stylized, which is kind of cool, is that you can actually make something 15% bigger than it actually is. I don't know how it works, but like when you put it into a game engine or something, I don't know where I read that, but it was years ago. I think it's like one of the Naughty Dog principles, maybe. And that's sort of what they do. So let me know if you can hear my voice okay. Sometimes I've had been told that my voice isn't always great on these live streams. But what we'll do, we'll just go into display capture mode and we'll just get this on our screen. Okay, so we can see where the cassette will be going in the middle. And what we really want to do is, I think I want to just make a square from the middle, center square. Okay, and we'll make that about that big. And then we can get rid of, we can just, I'm going to just group this into this, what I'll do is I'll group all of these. And we'll just call this cassette tape. Oh, my spelling is not good today. And we'll get this measurement into that group as well. And we'll just switch it off. Okay. And what's this empty here? We'll get rid of that as well. Okay. Okay, I got the chat up on the screen. So if you talk to me, I'll know, hopefully. And let's just try and roughly get this other shape out. Okay, so we'll go into front mode. And we're just going to really eyeball it. Okay, we're in front mode and we will eyeball it. And these starting points are always a little bit slow. I just have no idea why this doesn't want to hook onto the center. I might restart Plasticity, guys. Let's just I don't know if that's a bug or what. Or okay. Well, we'll duplicate that anyway. Hopefully this behavior will It might be because I'm using a old plasticity version. I don't know. Let's just create a new file, and we know that we know what our sizes want to be now. So that seems to be working now. Hello, holy FUK. Can you see everything now? No stream whatsoever, or you can hear me, or you can... Okay. 0.015. 0.015. Hang on. Oh, okay. Yeah, I had the screen on because I was restarting Plasticity. I think because I started an old Plasticity file. It was from an older version of Plasticity. It must have been playing up. So, yeah. It's always a slow start. So I just started a new file and everything seems to be working now. So we'll go 0.015. Oh, hang on. 0.15. 115. It's actually, hang on, what was my measurements again? 10 by 6.3. Let's bring a calculator up. 6.3 times 0.15 equals 0.945. So we want the... Yeah, start again. All right. I just want this one shape so I can use the best of the model. So we're going to go, the width is going to be C. Oh, hang on. We're going to make it a center circle, C. And then we'll make this 0.115. And then that 0.945. No, that's not right. 0.0945. Okay. I think that's what we want, but it doesn't look right. Does it? I'm just going to eyeball it. That's true. I forgot that has that blender functionality. Okay, so I want to change my measurements to centimeters actually. I should have set this up before I started the stream. Where are we? Preferences, units, centimeters, grid size, lines accented every, let's say 5. Okay, done. All right. Okay, width, we want, let's see if the maths will work for me. Okay, 10 times 1.5, 6.3 times 1.5. No, 15%. Okay, see, this is the first time I've done this in Plasticity. In Blender, it's okay. So we're going to go 10 times 0.015, 6.3 times 0.015. 0.15, no. Oh, my brain. Let's just do it as its normal dimensions. Let's not try and do anything silly. 10. 10. 6.3. 10. 6.3. Okay, there we go. That was way too much effort just to do that. And I've got to do it again. But, okay, confirmed. Okay, now we can start working on the rest of this guy. Okay. Woohoo! Hey Fat64, how you going? I guess you're all up late at night over where you are. Alright, so I'm going to approximately get this shape out here. And let's give these all a slight bevel to begin with. And it's not like a super tight bevel. Okay. Actually, maybe we should try and get all of our shape. Oh, no, that's okay. All right. Our cassette tape hole is now there. And we can extrude the rest of this out the way back. We'll keep it separate for now. And is my voice loud enough, guys? Hopefully it is. Okay. Alrighty, so let's start working on some of these details, I guess. I think we'll move this whole thing up just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more. All good. Now, so if you're just joining now, guys, we're just gonna make a Cyberpunk Ghetto Blaster. My initial idea was to do something like that, but it's what I wanted to do. But for the scene that I'm working on, for this project I'm working on, I kind of want a sort of like 80s, 90s kind of future, retro future vibe. So this is cool as well. Okay, so let's just maybe start to just add some curves where they're needed. So we'll start with this and we'll just turn this into a curve. And then we can maybe scale it. And we'll make another curve like that. But then we'll G and pull it across here and pull it down a bit. And then maybe we can do a like a bridge curve between here and here. Okay, that kind of looks cool, and we can maybe bring the whole lot up. No, not really, because I'm just kind of using it as a rough guide or a general ballpark just for the shape language. I don't think it will be identical to that. And then I'll probably take some other influences from these other ones as well. So, like for example, I like the speakers on that one. It's not so much as that one, and then maybe take some details from these other ones. So we'll just have a play around. It's just more of a let's see where we get to kind of vibe. But I do like this whole kind of shape here with the buttons. So I'm just kind of trying to build that out now. And we'll just bring this one down, and we'll bring both of these down, and we'll bring this one across. And then we can bridge curve and bridge curve. Alrighty. And then we can bring one to the center. Maybe scale it in again from here and just bring it down a bit and bridge curve. Okay, so we got this shape here, which we don't want to select those edges, and we just want to, I think, get rid of this guy and just bring it through to the center so we can just not have any troubles when we mirror it. Okay, so let's just join all of these together. Reasonably new. I'm not well, I started using it when it came out, and I've been using it ever since, but I don't get a lot of time to learn new things every day, so I just kind of do these projects if and when I can. But I'd say I'm I'd call myself like a low-level intermediate user, maybe. I'm not really I can't remember all the commands or anything like that. And what are we going to do? We'll okay. Feel like I want that to be a little bit taller. Yeah, I love Plasticity. It's like a game changer, because when I used to be in Blender, I used to find well, I still use Blender as my sort of main software, but I used to find hard surface modeling like very laborious and kind of a pain, because you'd always end up with artifacts, and ain't nobody got time for that. So I really appreciate Plasticity for its ease of use. And actually, I don't know if this is your first time on my channel or not, but I have made a plugin for Blender to sort of help optimize models once they've been exported from Plasticity, sort of like a and other Boolean based ngom meshes. So that's on my ArtStation, Gumroad and Blender market, and there's a free version as well. Okay, but that I'll probably, in the next stage of this, if I do another live stream about this, I'll probably go into using that a little bit for texturing before I do texturing. Just playing around here, trying to get my shapes. I think I want this one to be further out. Actually, I want it to have that chonkiness over there. Alrighty. Yep. Okay. And yeah, like that. I don't know why. How am I going to do this? Yeah, I've been using Blender for quite a few years. And it's been my main sort of jam for such a long time. But Plasticity really helped me out over the years. So let's just see, we've got this here. And if we select this full edge loop and this full edge loop, actually just I only want it on the inside one, really, don't I? So let's isolate that. Okay. And then we can maybe bevel that out like that. And then hopefully they'll join back together later, but it doesn't really matter. And then we want to maybe do the same. I'll get rid of this one. Maybe you want to do the same here. Just cut through. Get rid of that guy. Isolate that. And unisolate it. And yeah, select that. Take the isolation off and copy that shape there. Okay. And then we can do the same with the outside. Okay, starting to get something here. Getting our basic shapes sorted. I've started using another new software last couple of days called Instamat. Actually, what I might do quickly, we'll put in we'll put on screencast keys for a second, if I can find them. Okay, and those should be working now. Oh yeah, it's totally, for me, I think for a lot of CAD users and for polygon modeling users, it's like bridged the gap, you know, because I tried a few, you know, like CAD tutorials and stuff like that, and the workflow for me after coming from Blender was just way too, what's the word, methodical, where I kind of like something where I can just fool around and, you know, why is it doing it like that? Okay. Oh, it's because this doesn't have a face. That's okay. Where I find that, yeah, this does hit the spot, and I like polygon workflow, and I like the sculpting workflow as well, and I find that this really just gives me some opportunities that I didn't really have before or would take too long. Can make shapes that I wasn't able to do before, so that's really a cool aspect of it. I just want to hide that and just see if we can pull down that. Is it going to let me? Maybe not. No, it's not going to let me do that, but maybe if I dissolve that. Hold on. Right, okay, there we go. And maybe it'll now allow me, if I just get rid of these fillets. Yeah. And make it a bit bigger. Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, stuff like fusion and stuff like that is totally, you know, if you need that precision and all of that, it's perfect. But obviously, if you don't need the precision, then who cares? The faster workflow is gonna win. Is gonna win over that precision in any case. Okay, I'm just gonna get rid of these for now. All right, and okay, so maybe let's work on this top panel here. I think we could probably just use a center. I'm having problems with this. Have I done something in my settings that it doesn't like to find the center of a face? It does it over there, but why won't it do it with this one? Is that because there actually isn't a face there? Hang on. That might be the case. That is the case. Okay, so let's just make a yeah, definitely. Well, right now I'm really just having fun. Like if I was being a little bit more serious, I would probably find something as a basis, and then I would make, you know, a drawing or in Photoshop, and then work a little bit harder. But for something like this, which is essentially going to be a background prop for a scene that I'm working on, I don't really feel like there's a need to be too precise. Although there's other poly modelers who work in that same sort of methodical way, I'm just not one of those people. Now, what do we want to do with this? We'll get that center circle. Yep, there we go. building some of our shapes up very early and just getting our real, just making sure it looks right in terms of its base shapes from the get-go. And I think this actually wants to come out a little bit, like just be extruded a little bit from the outside. So one cool tool about plasticity, into an Iron Man suitcase. That would be cool. And if we just start to look at the silhouette, you want to know what it's going to look like. And I know that we've got these little things, but you know, if it was in a dark scene, you'd want to be able to recognize what it was. So I think we do need to exaggerate some of the protrusions in that regard. And I think that's fine. Those can just sit like that for now. Whereas these curves, let's just get rid of them. Okay, we are building up a shape, and I really want, there seems to be like a, let me inset this, offset this. Yes, it will. We might be getting a bit ahead of ourselves. Yeah, me too. I do like to use the cut line, and one of my favorite things is using the imprint curve with the normal. Oh, why is it doing that? Is it adding to our experience, or is it detracting from it? Oh, I like that. And then no, let's just go back a few steps and let's see what happens if we inset this. Offset. No, the reference picture, I just got Dali to make a bunch of stuff. I don't I've got mixed feelings about AI, to be honest. I did a whole thingo on it, but for somebody like me, getting a couple of quick reference pictures isn't the problem to work from. But obviously there's a lot to unpack with AI, and especially with Mid-Journey and those conversations coming out with, you know, evidence showing that they were trying to launder the art history of the training data. Yeah, I've got totally mixed feelings, but it's still a handy tool, and I think regardless of what happens, it's here to stay, whether we like it or not. What new tool are you talking about there, Pierre? Editing the curves, the CVs. I don't really know what that means. Let's try and work on this speaker because it's quite a protrusion. Yeah, I often use, like, especially for these streams, I'll often use an AI starting point, and then work from there, or if I've got an idea, but I don't really want to take it too far from something like this. Like, I'm basically trying to do like a futuristic version of this as imagined by somebody who lived in the 1980s who didn't know that we would have iPhones. Okay, version 1.4.18. I don't think I'm on that version. I'm on 1.4.1, so I'll have to check that out. Maybe it's something I need to add for my new video. I usually do, like, every time Plasticity has an update, I do a sort of an update video on. So this is just basically a bunch of pipes getting smaller and smaller. No, we don't want that. Actually, let's offset it, and then let's just bring this out like that. And let's see if we can. It's not quite like that. Oh, really? I was just talking on one of the comments in one of my other videos, and I just want to see how I'm going to figure this out. Yeah, a lattice deformation would be awesome. And also, I would love something for like something like this. So for example, let's say you've got a object. I would like a command like if we were to how am I trying to think about this? Okay, like say for example, if we add a face like this with G1, G2, G3, it'd be cool to have like an inflate from ZBrush where you could just play with the physics and like make it bulge out, because making bulges is like great, but it's a little bit there's lots of different ways you can do it, and there's like pros and cons to each way. And is there a way that I can make an array? Is there a way that I can make an array, a rectangular array, get bigger as it goes along? Ah, okay, I see what you mean. I'm just gonna, actually, let's just hide the back and hide this and hide that. We'll just do a curve array. On a curve array. Oh, I am stupid. Why am I trying to do it like this when I can just do this? Always trying to overthink things, and then you've got the answer pretty much right in front of you. There we go. We can give that a little bit of one of those. Actually, maybe let's isolate that. See if this will work. Unisolate it. No, why did that not work? Okay. That's okay. We'll just get rid of that curve and we'll do what I was going to do before. And we'll just extrude that one out. And just like I said before, I just want the scale to be a little bit higher than what it was before. Okay. So we're getting something here anyway. I don't think I'll join all of these pipes yet, because I don't know if I want to use those exactly, but we'll just put them into a group. I'm missing. We'll just call this speaker detail, and then we'll okay, and then we can give this a bevel like that, and maybe loft those two together like that. Well, it looks a bit wacky, but cool. And then I don't know if I want to fillet these just yet, but we'll see what it looks like. Maybe just these front ones. No, this is not the volume knob. This is some weird speakers. But it's like a volume knob. It's got like a volume knob on it, so maybe it could be like a dual purpose. I don't know. The AI made it. Don't blame me. Alrighty. So I feel like I wanted to get some more of those details in, so we'll just get rid of these. For now, and get rid of these. We'll get rid of all of our curves. And we can, just for the sake of being able to read this easily, I'm just going to get rid of these curves there. Okay, and I do want... Yeah, we'll have a look at that again later, but we'll just... Let's get rid of this, and then just mirror everything we've got here. Okay. Yeah, exactly right. So I'm just fooling around really. This is going to be a background asset, so I'm not too bothered by it. It's not going to be a main feature of my scene or anything like that, but I want to put some time into it. Let's just quickly see how our highlights are looking. I feel like we won't know if these weird AI boob gun speakers are gonna look cool until we get some of the other protrusions. But I do feel like they might be. Let's get rid of this one and mirror that one. And we'll put our edges back on. Yeah. I was thinking about doing this one, which is like more sort of traditional, but if you look at the size of the tape. Oh, thank you very much. We'll see how it goes, but basically the scene is going to be like a kind of like a bit of a messy room with a few different objects in it, and I feel like because I'm going for a kind of 80s vibe, it needs a radio of some kind. What I do feel like though is this is overall too chunky. And let's see if we can get these sort of maybe, now that these are sticking out a bit more, these could probably go back in a little bit. And something like that. Oh, yep. Okay, so we got all of these buttons down here and some panels and some weird switches on the side. I actually think making those switches might be quite fun now, but I just still want to work on my base shapes. So what we'll do, we'll just bring something across like this. Bring it up like that, and we can just scale it. And up. Yeah, I was thinking like alarm clock size. That's kind of the kind of size, like, beside the bed alarm clock size. So sort of like a glorified Walkman, or like one of these these guys back in the day were pretty cool. But that kind of size, that's kind of the rough size I'm going for. But not that. I have modeled one of these in Blender in the past, some years ago. That was quite fun. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I definitely want that 80s kind of. like if Fallout was retro future and happened in the 80s and everything got stuck and then we had a kind of sci-fi version of that. That's kind of, I don't know, not exactly what I'm going for, but something along those lines, like just there was a game that kind of did it as well, by a Polish studio. I can't remember the name. It was before Cyberpunk came out. They did a... So did I cut that out? So I want to Shift D and I think there's probably a better way to do this, but we shall see. Alright, I'm just going to leave that there for now. I'll probably figure out a different way of doing that. And let's can I do these without breaking symmetry? Because I could probably do a lot of this stuff in texturing. Let's just work on a couple of these switches. I might just find a picture of a stainless steel switch. Yep, I will take it to Blender and then I will use my plugin that I made for Blender to optimize it, and then I will paint it. I'll probably bake the normals in Marmoset and then paint it in Substance Painter, but I am very tempted to use Instamat Studio to paint it, because I haven't used the painting or layering features of that yet. I don't know if you've seen Instamat Studio. I'll just load this up. It'll probably slow my computer down having Plasticity and this open at the same time. But I made this material the other day, and it's a new program that's free if you learn under 100,000 USD. And I was able to 100% use all of my Substance designer knowledge to build this big graph here, and get this pretty cool material, which we can probably see in a better lighting mode. Yeah, anyway, pretty cool stuff. So I'm kind of tempted to like try and get a painting workflow for this software after the fact. So that would be quite cool. Oh, what was I doing? Stainless steel switch. Do you know what? I've never tried 3D coat. I've never tried 3D coat. I've heard good things though. Why don't we use this stainless steel switch as a premise? Yeah, a lot of people say they hate nodes, but like, it's just like layers, but sideways. And then you can have lots of different layers interacting with each other, and it's easier to read. So I feel like nodes are fine, but it's one of those things that it, like, for years there's a few things like learning how to use nodes and UV unwrapping that I just avoided, and then as I hated. I agree about the UI. I feel like the UI, like, it doesn't have enough, like the buttons don't have enough I don't know, like, it's a bit hard to read, I do agree. But for free, I feel like that's a small price to pay, and you can actually do like feature requests on their Discord and stuff, and on their website. So, okay, so what are we going to do here? We'll get another circle in the middle of this. And I feel like scale it up. And it's not quite right in the right place. And we'll do like that. And scale it in a bit. And do like that. Scale it in a bit more. And let's just loft and see what shape we get. I wanted something a little bit more organic-y. Yeah, something like that. And then we can just coaxial connectors. Maybe. I don't even know what that is, but I'm just calling it a switch. Oh, that ball's way too big. Now it's too small. Okay. I think the whole thing's too big. Or is it? Oh, hang on. No, it was the right size. Connected to plug in the cable for the TV. Like an RF cable. I'm from the 90s. Alright, and then let's just rotate that. Let's see, on V. Have one of them pointing up. And rotate that. V. Okay. Rotate that. V. One of them pointing down. Bit like that, something like that. I think the Ghetto Blaster would play sound from these speakers, and I think I want to make that more apparent than what's in the AI. So I think I will like make something like this here to clarify that. And I do think when I lofted this, it wasn't good. Maybe we just want to go back to G0 for now. Get rid of this. Oh. We don't want that. Let's just, and I feel like there's too much, it's too noisy here. Let's just get rid of some of this stuff here. And let's maybe loft these two together. It's just a lot of trial and error trying to get your shapes. I don't want it to be too visually noisy when you look at it. But obviously texturing is going to break some of that up as well, so I do have to remember that to some degree. But I think this detail here is something I'll be working on very much till the end. And I'd probably use texturing to sort that out. Okay, so we've got this up here, we've got the switches down there, and there's like a, is that what you're talking about, this connector here? Yeah, maybe, yeah. It's gonna be finally it's gonna be a UE forcing. So I'm not gonna like bother too much with optimizing these because I want to make them all nanite meshes. I want to get all of the details. So I'm gonna drag these up here. I think I want to add these other little details in here as well. So we've got this thing here. That's a very good question, and I hadn't actually thought about that until you just mentioned it. I probably will do an animated texture now that you say it. Something simplistic. I think some of these like graphic equalizer looking things could flash on and off, and we could have a few flashing lights on it and things like that. I did do an alarm clock with flashing lights many years ago doing a project in Unity. And that was really fun. I was permanently sent to 420 because it was a teenager's smoky bedroom. Okay, let's deal with this shape here. I feel like we can just pull this out, offset it, and bring it in like that, and we're done. And maybe if we want it to be a bit chunkier later on. That's okay. It's a very small detail. And then down here, 3.5 millimeter jack hole. No. Guitar lead jack hole. Alrighty. What are we working with? Something like no, that's not really what I want. Okay, let's just have a look at this anyway. Alrighty. I don't really like the hexagon, but let's no USB, I don't think, for this one. That's that. I don't even know what this is going to be. It's probably just going to be a light. You know, sometimes the details don't need to make sense. And sometimes they do. The main thing is because it's not for something that we are going to be using in the real world. The main thing is that the person who is looking at it, the consumer of the art, understands what they're looking at. Okay, and maybe a little bit big. Make the hole smaller. Feel like okay. We'll come back to that if we need to, but let's get rid of these curves. And I feel like let's have a look at the silhouette. And as we move around, yeah, I feel like if there was like a backlight to that, I feel like these items could be even a bit bigger on there though. Like a bit more cartoony, if you know what I mean. Let's just bring them all up. I'll just leave them as is. I might make this a bit bigger. Drag it down. And this is just a bit... I don't know about this. Oh well. We'll just drag it down. And we'll just leave it there for now. And we can come back to it if we need to. I can make the reference artworks available. I'll put them up somewhere. Don't know where to put them up. I'll have a think about it and I'll let you know. Okay. So we got... This is where we're going to start to break symmetry. I feel like we could take one of these. Oh, Shift D. I just want to... I'll just put those there for now, just as a guide. And I'm thinking about, let's continue with this side panel here, and we'll just add some more details into here. We're going to start to break symmetry now. So we're kind of at the point where I guess we've got all the symmetry we need though for that main object. So I'm okay with that. Okay. All right. Actually, what does that do? Okay. I'd love like the option to like do every other or something like that. And let's give these like more sort of sharp, cyberpunky. Yeah, there we go. And up the top, what have we got? Some random buttons. Press F to move things more accurately. Oh yeah, no, I know about that. Yeah. Alrighty. So this is where we might be able to use an imprint. No, that didn't work. Let's just start from the center of that. G. We can use this as a construction plane. Is it working as a construction plane? Yeah, no, but we want this more to the left. Okay. So, and then we want to Control Shift C. Control Shift C. No, we'll just do another one here. That's a really good idea. That's actually a really good idea, like a babelfish button. If you guys know what a babelfish is. Yep. Okay. All right. Okay, and then we'll go Shift I, stick it to normal. And then hopefully, if we delete our curves, oh, we can get rid of our construction plane, and we can intrude, offset, and extrude. Okay, and then we can give them all a nice chamfer. Although these curved ones don't like the chamfer so much. Let's give these two a chamfer. Oh. And these can have their own chamfer. Okay. Now, it's important to always check the silhouette. Get rid of this guy. And I feel like the silhouette's starting to have a little bit more of a quality to it. But I feel like we could pull these buttons out further, so I might undo the chamfers that we did and pull them out a bit further, extruding along the normal. So long and thanks for all the fish. Alright, let's see if these will chamfer better now. They'll play nicely. Yes. Okay, and now if we go back to our silhouette, it's got a lot more of a, and we'll get rid of that. Yeah, we're starting to get a lot more kind of shapes in the overall silhouette. And then we're not even going to start working on that yet, but there seems to be some ventilation at the back and stuff like that. So down here we've got 4 buttons and there's like a curved shape, so I think we're going to do these 3 buttons. Actually, let's figure this out. Okay, let's get our shape here, and then we've got another one above which is smaller and longer, and also this whole thing takes up about 1/3 of that. Oh, but there's another shape up here which we'll just get this one in quickly. Okay, because that shape kind of defines, this shape here kind of defines this space here. So what we'll do is we'll just quickly just indent this into the body. Now we've got that. Okay, and we can add details to that later, but now we've got these 2. You mean this here? Some kind of connector? Do you know what I reckon that's supposed to be from the AI's memory? Is like, there used to be like a little click button on floppy disk drives back in the day, and on what they used to call a zip drive. Like one of these kind of clickers here. I think that's what that's meant to be. Maybe that is a floppy disk drive down here, or some kind of like storage medium that got invented because CDs never got invented in this alternative reality that we're trying to create here. So that's too much, so let's add some, actually let's just subdivide the whole thing. Shift S. Hang on, what does it look like? Okay, let's, yeah, like a mini disc. Yeah, exactly right, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Or like a zip, what are they called, a zip drive? Late 90s. Yeah, these things. They were only around for like a really short period of time. But like, they were the like must-have storage. I think you could like get like 100 megabytes or something. Yeah. Okay, I'm still not happy with this shape. I do kind of want to maybe just a normal bevel. Yeah, I think that will do. And then if we 120 megabytes, yeah, absolutely. That would have been the amount. Now, first of all, let's give this a little bit of a actually, while we're doing that, we'll do the top of alrighty. Okay, that looks cool. I think it needs to be a bit more bigger and a bit more central. So let's get it centered first. Roughly. And let it make it take up about 1/3 of that area. And let's just get those holes in there. And then we can try and get the buttons in there. Okay, that's fine. And this one, probably not going to be actually openable, but we'll just make it go in a little bit more further. Did I just delete that, what I didn't want to delete? Yep, okay. So, scale, 0.98, something like that. Scale 0.98. Alright. Let's just drag that in and make it as part of that. Okay, well now we can get rid of that curve. Pull this out a little bit. Give that a... Does it want to be a bevel or a fillet or a chamfer, do we think? Let's make it a chamfer. A bevel, fillet, sorry. Okay. So, that looks about right. And let's just get that little switch on there before we forget about it. So we'll make that in the center. GG. And we can, I think we need to scale it up. And extrude it in. Press W to make it a... Did that work? I don't know if it did, you know. Something's there. Is there 2 copies of that? No, it's part of that. Well, let's actually just give this its shape first. Okay. There we go. And we can just insert this. Oh, sorry. Using Blender commands. Okay. And that can be like a little bit inset because you don't want to press it by accident while something's being written. A little bit of a... Alright, that looks cool. I don't know how old you guys are, but there used to be a program called... what was it called? What was the under the water 90s program? Deep sci-fi. Sequest. There was this program called Sequest. And in Sequest, they were like, it was set in the future, and instead of having CDs, they would all have like mini discs. Little did they know, like 3 years later, MP3s would come out and destroy any sort of concept that would have. But it was pretty cool because I was like, in the future, we'll only have mini discs and we'll be able to take them with us, and they'll be smaller than CDs. Okay. How many buttons have we got? 5? Which means 4 cuts. But these ones on the outside, actually I might need to, let's make this our temporary construction plane. And let's do a fat button like that. I think so. I'm not like the kind of person that remembers actors very well. I'm just not that. My brain doesn't work that way. But I think that does ring a bell. Yeah, I can see the middle button is narrower, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do here. If we just I think what we do is we do this, and then we can delete that and that. No. What we'll do is this, delete that, mirror it, there we go, and then we get rid of this, and then we can all of these. I'm doing this a really weird way. I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing, but it will work, so that's the main thing. Okay. Yeah, Sequest, man. I used to love that program. I guess it's trash. I think I tried to watch it again, and it's actual trash. But when I was maybe 9 or 10, I thought that was dope. Everybody else liked Babylon 5. I wasn't a big fan of Babylon 5, but I loved Sequest. There was like an episode where they went and fought Neptune under the sea, and I thought that was amazing as well. Okay. Alright, these buttons seem to be roughly in the way that the AI imagined them. And then we can do, I think, let's chamfer this one and then give it a bit of a bevel. well, we got our mini disc player, and yeah, it was like had really good 3D graphics in its days. Yeah, you're right. And I'll tell you what, like I didn't come from a rich family. Like my family didn't even get a computer till after I left home. So like anything 3D, like I went and saw Jurassic Park in like 1992 or 1993 when it came out, and I just thought it was just the bee's knees. It was just the absolute best shit ever, and I wanted to do 3D from like a super young age. And then we had this like computer at school that would allow you to look at 3D models, and it had like a cactus and a few other props that you could sort of place around a scene that were all sort of like had a, I don't know, like a cartoon texture paint, and you could scale them and rotate them and things like that. And I was just like, why can't I make my own 3D objects? But I didn't really like have the language or the like sort of understanding of computers to sort of like ask anybody like, how do I make my own 3D objects? So, like really like what happened was I just ended up not doing 3D, and I did a bunch of other things in my life. I worked as a chef for a long time. I went to a lot of parties, and lived a bit of a bohemian lifestyle for a very long time. And then years later, when obviously you can't maintain that kind of lifestyle majorly in any way or form, I came back to it, and I decided to like do an online course on like programming games, and there was a bit of 3D in that. And then when I found Blender, I was just like, this is what I wanted to do when I was like 15, and nobody taught me how. So here I am, nearly giving my age away, nearly 40, and I've been teaching myself for the last 6 years. So that's been, you know, it's never too late to start. And you started in 2007, and I was looking at it in 1997 wondering how I could start, but I had no idea where I could. So I started in about 2016, and then got into it a bit more in 2017. So I've only been going for 3 years, really. Oh no, what's that? No, 6 years, something along those, 6 or 7 years. All right, we'll just start to build some of these shapes up. I do like some of this detail, but I think it can be done in texturing. So I just really want to get the basic shape here. So we'll make that go in a bit more. Actually, we're really starting to get somewhere with this, so let's just turn off the edges and look at it in a different kind of view. I think it's starting to look cool. You learned Softimage in 2015, and when did people stop using Softimage? Like, that fell off not that long ago, didn't it? Absolutely, and there's a lot of great open source tools, like Blender being open source. When I started using Blender, it was like pretty much laughed at. It was like a laughed at option, but I think let's get this. This is kind of like a, I know it's not what's on the thingo, but I think that looks cool. I think that's cool. Yeah, okay, so like, yeah, because Softimage had like quite a lot of tools that were kind of industry standard for a really long time, right? And people, didn't it have like a really good like physics system or something like that? I was still getting my head around Blender while Autodesk was killing everything. And when I started using Substance, I was like super happy with that. And then it got sold to Adobe, and now I had to buy the license through Steam. And so that's why I'm quite interested in this Instamat, you know. I think I don't want to put too many fillets there just yet. Ice, yeah, and now like there's like, is it like, does Maya use Bitfrost or something like that as the replacement? And it's like not the best replacement in the world. Just having a drink of water. Do you know what's really cool though in Blender now? And I know it's nothing on Houdini level, but within geometry nodes, there's now simulation nodes. Like as an alternative to the like physics system or the particle systems as well. So simulation nodes is cool. So you can like generate waves and stuff like that. It's kind of like faking it, but I guess kind of like faking it because it's not. I don't think I want those in there, but I do want these not to be as deep because they're kind of just. And hang on. Let's just get that. Equals 0.01. Minus. Okay, are they on the same plane now? No, not quite, but let's just get rid of these fillets. You reckon Blender's at the same level as Softimage? Oh, that's pretty cool. I haven't like spent a lot of time doing particle systems. Like I've done a little bit in Blender and a little bit in I've done a little bit in Blender and a little bit in okay, so I need to hold down shift when I do this so I can select both of them. We don't want those to be like too crazy, do it. Something like that. Okay, and what we haven't done yet is any bulging surfaces. But I'm starting to like where this is going. I think really well, that's good because when I started using Blender, like, you know, people were just sort of be like, huh, Blender, that's not industry standard or whatever. But I think it really shows the power of open source because open source software, if it's funded and people are passionate about it, like Blender has and has got big companies, it's kind of like the free for everyone thing is great. And then if big companies want to put money in because they know it could save them money on expensive licenses down the line, then it's in their interest to help grow the open source software. Yeah, when I first started using Blender, it was just 100 megabytes, and now it's 300 packed, and I think, yeah, like a gigabyte unpacked. Okay, so what I haven't really tackled yet is this side. I think this side looks fun. Let's just do that side and let's just sort of like try and get some symmetry with these. So on this side we don't have the mini disk drive or anything like that, but we've got these two kind of screens. So our screen is an opportunity to do some bulging. Fun. Okay, so let's get the outer casing for the screen. Let's just let's just try and get that central. Yeah, and Ubisoft have also developed some of the features in Blender, I think, as well. If they could get it reliably in their pipeline, because they're a big company, I don't think that they would. Maybe for the poly side of things, like, it's totally plausible, but I think for sculpting, like, ZBrush is going to be always, for now, even though it's fucking expensive. There's just things I can't do in Blender that I can do in ZBrush. I probably can do them in Blender. Yeah, I follow some like Ubisoft artists that use Blender on ArtStation as well. I think they're Ubisoft artists. I'm pretty sure. Is The Division by Ubisoft? Yeah, So like one of the artists on The Division, I think, is a Blender user. Yeah, for now, and even if there's like an Ask NK video from the other day, that big feature release of ZBrush, which is like the slime pipes or whatever it was. Somebody's just made a free plugin for Blender that adds that functionality. So let's pull this out. I kind of like this inset kind of ness to it. So let's pull this out. Actually, it's quite packed. They're quite stuffed in quite tight, aren't they? So let's. Maybe a little bit to the left. I'm not sure about this whole fillet here, to be honest. Let's get rid of this fillet for now. I think that's messing up my ability to read this properly. Okay. Now, what we've got here is an extrusion that doesn't quite come out as far as this, so this needs to protrude further. But that needs to protrude not as much, so let's just hopefully this will work. All right. Maybe. This is where we start to sort of like look at some of the finer details. I'm just going to shift I this and make it a normal. Okay, did that work? Yes. And then if we bring that in and something like that. Will allow me to bring this up like that. Can bring this out further or extrude it out further, and we can fill it that. And let's just try and maybe loft this using these. Right. It's just what happens if we just patch that whole thing. Don't know if that did anything interesting, so we'll go back and we'll just leave it as it is and we can have a play with it later. The whole reason is I wanted this to be stuck out a little bit further, And I think we will take it even a step back. And we just bring this down. That would be a very Back to the Future moment, you know, or you know, the Gremlins dad who's an inventor, and like the toothbrush and everything. That's all the all-in-one device from the Gremlins movie. That's a pretty 80s. Yeah. Yeah, well, I've got a bunch of props that I've made recently. I've got a bunch of props. Call this Ghetto Blaster 1. And I'm planning on painting them all. So, I will be basically putting them all available somewhere. Probably, I usually put everything on Sketchfab and BlenderKit that, you know, that I feel like I want to put on there. But I've got a CRT TV that I haven't textured yet. And there's a camper van that I'm working on, and it's all part of the project. But they'll all be available at some point. Let's see how these... It's very slightly beveled. Yeah, actually one of my biggest selling... I'll show you quickly. One of my biggest selling... not my most profitable, but one of my biggest selling props of all time. Apparently I'm agreeing to new terms of use on Sketchfab. Let's go. No, that's not right. This is like from when I was a little bit more not as good at 3D, but it still sells like, I don't know, once every couple of months I'll get a, and I'm just always surprised that it's this model. If it will load up. Oh, my browser's behaving strangely. Oh, you want to download the Plasticity model? I usually sell them as like final game ready assets, but yeah, if you look here, this is like the CYBERPUNK laptop that I made, and it was like, it just sells all the time. It's not even like, it's textured quite poorly and stuff like that, but I guess as a background prop it's fine. Yeah, okay, so let me just hit my YouTube Studio. Content live. Let's make a CYBERPUNK Ghetto Blaster. Alrighty, and let's find. All right. If you hit refresh, you'll find. Actually, let me just find all my. Give me a second. Boom. I'll put all my sales links in the description. And I already have a screw kit bash kit, which is available on GUMROAD. So if you want some plasticity kit bashing at this point in time, then that's available as well. So if you hit refresh, you'll see all my sales links in the description. And let's carry on with this guy here. So what was I doing? Oh, yep, I was trying to pull these guys out, pull them boot. And we're just gonna get some inset. So yeah, I think the screw kit bash kit's $5. And it's got 88 screws. And some of them are for inset screws. Actually, I'll show it to you now. New window. Open. Let me find it. I think this is the latest version. Yep, okay. So for example, I've got this window here with all my different screws in it. So if I wanted to choose one of these, I just need to Control Shift C, and then I can bring them into this file and Control Shift V, whack them there, move it, and then I can just, and there you've got it, the screw, and there's 88 of them. Okay, so have fun. I'll just get rid of that. I'll probably add my screws to this later, and let's just get rid of the screw kit bash for now. Don't want too many programs open with my old 2070, which will start sounding like a V8 engine if I've got too much going on. And we'll crack on with that. Alrighty, so we just want to probably get a little bit of a inset on both of these. And I want these screens to be kind of visible, so what we'll do now, there's no bevel on that. Okay, let's duplicate this. Actually, do we want to inset that first? Just a little bit, I think. And then let's duplicate this. And then let's isolate it. Go into one. And then we're going to start adding split curves to this, to the middle points. Actually, before, maybe, okay, and then we can, okay, so that is kind of what we want. And then if we just extrude that out, now you can see we've got the, I've done a video on this before. You can see we've got these, we don't have any corners anymore. That's all a curve. And then we've only got our edges there. So now if we, oh, if we chamfer this and then get rid of that and we go to a G1, it should bulge. Okay, and I feel like my graphic cards is playing up. So now if we unisolate this and flatten it a bit and bring it in, scale it down, we've got a nice little screen on there. So if we look at our highlight edges mode, you can see that there's a nice shape to that. Something a little bit of a detail. Okay, so I think I want to do that on the smaller one as well. So let's do the same thing again. Maybe let's make 2 screens on the smaller one. But let's just take this and isolate it. Doesn't like that face for some reason. Here we go. Okay. I don't know if this was a good idea. No, I don't think we need 2 screens. Shift-D, and we can isolate that one in like that. Go into one, we'll subdivide it a couple of times. Add our, unsubdivide it. Add our little points along the curve. Then subdivide it. Extrude it out. Chamfer. And add a G1 curve. I think G2 will fail. Alright. So, got another little bit of a bulgy bit. We can reduce our levels of isolation, scale this down a bit, and scale it from its back center in. Okay, we got 2 funny little TV screens in there. Great fun. And let's have a look here. Honestly, like, I'll give you my prompts right now. I'm using DALL-E, okay, because fuck Midjourney. So I'll just quickly okay, so initially I went 16 by 9 dirty 1980s tape player. And then I went futuristic impression of an old 80s tape player, dirty. Number 2 again, but more dirty. Okay, so if we're going through these, you can sort of see number 2 again, but with the correct dimensions for a cassette, which was this one. So if you look at that, it got the correct dimensions for the cassette and then sort of built the Ghetto Blaster around that. Not really. It's kind of weird. This is like a mini tape player, but in the shape of like a hectic. This would actually be a cool idea for 3D printing, like a Walkman design maybe. And And then number 1 again, but with correct dimensions of the tape. And I think that came up with this one, which didn't have correct dimensions for a tape. But I kind of like that one as well. I kind of like the style. And that was it. So very, very simple. DALL-E's pretty good. You just need to sort of like... I mean, because it's ChatGPT, right? So you use the same kind of like coercing and coaxing that you do with the other model. All right, where are we up to on this one? We got 2 buttons, and then there's like we really just somehow need to inset this shape. Let's just see if I can bring a curve across and imprint it. Let's make it X, Z, okay, Shift I, imprint, normal, accept, hide the curve, and yep, it'll let us offset that. And then we can pull this whole lot in, pull this out. I don't know about that actually. Let's just see if we can. Fatter one. Okay, and we'll just 0.098 999 0.99. Okay, 0.99. We'll just do it by hand. Okay. All right, let's pull these buttons out. And then we can maybe get rid of the because I just wanted that to conform with the why am I getting like this? Let's do them one at a time. SY0 just to flatten that out. Okay, let's get rid of our curves, all of them, and give these a little bit of a don't know if those are, we kind of want to emphasize that a bit, don't we? A little bit more rounded. Okay. And I think we'll do these little details as well. On the side, let's check, hang on, just need to check something. Okay. I think this will be nice and easy. We can just get a cube like that. Or not a cube, eh? Alrighty, and then we just extrude that out there. 2 other toggle switches. Yes, you're right. Let's I'll deal with that in a moment because I feel like there's a bit of empty space here. But what would those toggle switches even be for? Maybe they could like be for a linear array. I'll probably I don't even know. I'm probably even just going to do this and not even bother with a linear array. Probably just do this. And just make pipes and join them on. Oh, well. There we go. Done. The ambient occlusion will do a lot of the work on that when we get round to it. But what it won't let me do is I should have done that before. Alright, so these toggle switches, I wonder if I can just, now let's make them separately, and then what we can do is we can grab this, Shift D, scale it on the X, bring it in a bit, and scale this guy like so. And I'm just dealing with that messed up space there. I think that looks kind of cool. Yeah, it is starting to look pretty outrageous. You're right. And what even is this? I'm actually terrified of how good AI is actually getting recently. If you see the latest DALL-E, not DALL-E, the latest video one that they've come out with, I just don't think there's any fighting it. And I used to kind of like have a little bit of contempt for companies like OpenAI or whatever. I'm like, oh yeah, it's really bad or whatever. However, really, the fact that companies like Google and Facebook and stuff are buying massive GPU amounts, it's quite disconcerting. So having a little bit of access to it at our level, 0.999998. scale 0.98. Yeah, I definitely think that it's trained on some photos or artworks from the from that era. I get some of those details quite good. These are going to be quite fun. This will be mostly done in texturing, but I would like to have it as a... Let's see how we go to... Oh, I've unhidden all of these guys, so let's just delete them because I don't think I want those exactly how they are. Maybe as a coil later on. Maybe I could have a coil. Hang on, where... Spiral. I'll figure that out later. Getting distracted here. Let's do the toggle switches. They're very blurry, but I feel like they're not the same as the mini disc one. I feel like they're more like... feel like they're more like, yeah, like a toggle. Yeah. Let's have a tinker around. And then let's bring that one. Hey. Control Shift C. Control Shift V. Bring that one up, and then we can just isolate those for a second. Fill it everything. Unisolate them. And I feel like the ambient occlusion will bring both of these, all of this in a bit. And they can be toggled up and down. And the ambient occlusion will deal to a lot of the sort of filling in the gaps of the imagination there, I would imagine. So let's call them like that. Okay. I wish we could select the next in the loop like control click and blender. Fatter button, you reckon? Alright, let's do it. I'll just get a fatter as in like that, fatter. There we go. Thanks, Pierre. Okay. Now we've got this front part to deal with. I don't know if there would be any side parts on that, but what I might just do is flip these over here, drag them up to the top, rotate them by 100 and rotate X 180, and then like maybe rotate X 90 minus rotate X 90 minus rotate X, bring it around like that. Okay. You reckon? That is a good technique. I'll think about it. It looks good. We could have some like, because it's quadraphonic sound back then, we could hang on. We could have some tweeters up there. So yeah, I think so. Something like a handle. I'll think about the handle in a bit. I'm just thinking about the logistics of this tweeters here. Actually, I think, what about, what have I got a duplicate there? No, I think definitely there is the best place, roughly. Okay. And we will mirror that. Mirror that. Boom. And I think just thinking about it. Let's just go and have a look at this. I think I want it to be more simplistic than that, but it's a good idea. but I think I will get something more along. Maybe like an old school bag strap or something for the shoulders. But yeah, we'll have a look anyway. Bose 601, I think I know what you mean. Here's a look. Yep. Yep, I'm with you. Actually, what we do need to do is figure out how we're going to get this we're just going to do it like this. And then we'll look at this indentation. Do another sphere there. Turn off X-ray mode. And make it a new body. Scale it right in, bring it out. Hang on, other way around. That need to come. Why can't I select anything? Because I'm in the wrong mode. And then finally, join it together. Okay. So that's looking a little bit more speakery, and then we will definitely have to I think it needs some of this. I shouldn't have put too much detail in here at the beginning. Let's just try and get rid of some of these. Dissolve some of these. I just want to get some of this So if I just get rid of that and get rid of that, then I can hopefully loft those. And then join those. Yep. And why is it still reading as a sheet? Now it's a solid. Okay. So now we can get rid of some more of this more detail. Okay. Just okay. I tried to add too much detail too early and I ended up disappointed. Okay. Okay. That's not what I want to do. Okay. Let's get rid of this guy and oh yeah, no, definitely. But I'm just annoyed at myself because I like normally to start with the primary shapes, and I was trying to add in, you know, like details like right at the beginning, which is stupid, but you know, it's okay. Yeah, that looks cool. Let's see what happens if we can we just bring, if we just select all of these. Can we just bring them in a bit? Oh, because there's a sheet in there. Which is what? Just delete that. Now if we select all of these, can we just bring them in? And if we scale it, let's get rid of that curves. Let's just get rid of all of our curves. No, it doesn't like it. Oh well, we'll leave it as is now. I've got the sort of base shape that I want. Can come back to it in a minute. Now let's, I think, deal with the elephant in the room, which are these buttons. So we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15. And 15 on the top and then up. So what I think I want to do is I don't want to do it exactly how this is on the screen. I think I want some kind of this. Can I delete that? Yeah. And let's see if we can move the angle in. Yeah, and we've got that kind of curve there. And then we'll try and curve this down a little bit as well, see what happens. Oh, no, that was not good. And thanks everybody for joining, and thanks for Pierre for keeping the chat dope. There's still 6 other people lurking, so or 5 other people lurking maybe, or maybe they've just dropped out as I said that. All right, let's do a little inset on this. All right. Okay, so what I think I'll do is I'm going to get these buttons in here. You reckon these are equalizer buttons? I'm quite looking forward to making this like kind of translucent glow-in-the-dark material for the tape later on at some point. And maybe even animating the tape. That will be quite fun as well. Okay, so let's hollow this out. I'm going to get these buttons in here. And then I might go for lunch later on. And then tonight, when you guys are in... Where are you, Pierre? You're in Europe? I'll probably do another stream. Texturing this guy. No, it's not. I'm not overwhelmed. I quite enjoy streaming because quite a few of these streams have turned out to be, you know, some good ideas get popped in the chat, and then I get distracted, and it turns out totally different to how I intended. But awesome all the same. So I'm just going over there and adding a detail. 10:30 p.m. Canada. Ah. So it'll be 10 p.m. or 10:30 p.m. on a Friday. It's 2:30 here in Australia on a Saturday. Why have I got these? Are they required? Okay. Happy accidents. Absolutely. Boom shakalaka. Okay, we can. That's cool. Now let's try and patch that. Okay, that's cool. And then I want to try something. No, I do not want to try something. Okay, so let's get these. Let's make this a construction plane if it'll let us. It will not. Let's make that a construction plane. Oh, hang on. There we go, it will. And make that a square, maybe a little bit of an oblong, maybe a little bit of one of those. Like that. And I want to do that. Okay. This might be the best way of doing it. And something like that. And we can get rid of these. Pull that up there. Okay. And we can do a rectangular array along the X to about there. And then we can mirror it. Get rid of one of those. Actually, let's make it a button first. It's a new body. And actually, what I think I want to do, let's double click on that and go into our array. This is from the center. Thunderbirds are go. That was another Sunday afternoon favorite for me as a kid and my brother. Alrighty. Shift I on the normal. Okay. And that did not go how I wanted it to. Rotate. Shift I on the normal. There we go. What happens if I... Yeah, we want it just on the vector. Okay, that's fine. Okay. I think extruded, but not that much. And these guys can come in or not. No, I think that's fine. So I want to duplicate this and make an array. I'll just make it to there on the X. And shift, hang on. Scale. Make an array on the X to about there. Make a few more buttons. Let's actually, array on the X. Make a few more buttons. And then let's okay, and then we can array this guy here. Can maybe give him as roundedness, and then we can make the array on there to the center of that on the X. Okay, some buttons. All right, we got some buttons. Now we need some bigger buttons and a little bit more tightly packed. We also probably want to add some, I don't know what kind of details we want to add there. I think I want to bring these nope. Oh yeah, this should work. Further out, and what's this going on here? Do I need these? No. Okay. So we've got these smaller buttons and these larger buttons. I think my fillets here are too rounded. Okay. Maybe I'll just confuse everyone and put bunny ears on it. And that would be a bizarre thing. So let's get one of the, so I think what we just need to do here, let's just figure out our proportions. I reckon about that. Okay, so we'll get a button like that. And what we'll do is we'll pull them out like that. And we'll just G and get rid of our custom plane. G and pull this down like that, very slightly, and then bevel it like that. Okay, and let's bring them down here. Although this one's got a bit of a rounder bevel, so we can do that. But let's do his own shape buttons, just so we've got a shape language for each of the buttons. Like that maybe. And let's make sure they're roughly the same width. And we want these to be packed quite tightly. So I'm going to scale both of these on like that. Isolate them. No, I don't need to give everything a fillet right now. Yeah, TV bunny ears. It'd be quite funny. Or maybe like, you know, they could wear bunny ears on the other shoulder. Yeah, have you been using Plasticity for long? And honestly, this doesn't even need to be concept work, really. Like, you could take this into Blender. Like, let's just like open up Blender and so you could very quickly optimize this to be working in. So this is a plugin that I made. So if I bring the Plasticity mesh in and I just connect it and I just bring in our guy into Blender, you can see there. And what I'll do, I'll just turn the, it's a bit distracting. Okay, so if we come down to Ngon Pro, we can turn our wireframes on. We go back to the Plasticity one actually first. Wherever I put it there. Okay, and then we can just refacet it. Refacet everything as an Ngon based. Okay, and then you can see it, it's very readable. Okay, and then I go back down to my plugin, Ngon Pro, and you can create a low poly and a high poly. Okay, so everything will, let's just say I joined it all together, hypothetically. Okay, and then create a low poly. There we've got it. Okay, but it's not quite the detail. And then you do the same for your high poly and you're ready to export. Yeah, I made Ngon Pro. That's a plugin that I made. Yep. So that's pretty good. And I've just added the new vertex colors in there. So you can just work with your Ngons. And don't know, wanted to texture the speaker, I could just use that as a vertex color mask. And you'll see if we go into attribute mode, paint faces only, we got turn our wireframe off, and you can see it's pretty easy workflow. And then basically you've got the underscore low suffix, you can manage the naming conventions, and that's it. So back in Plasticity, I think let's open our, I'm just going to save this just in case I do the wrong thing. Let's find our cassette. Where are we? Where are we? Okay, so we'll go to this folder. Let's open our cassette. Okay, let's just select all of our solids. Control Shift C and Control Shift V. Well, it's a little bit bigger than it should be. Okay, now let's scale that right down. Okay, that's fine. Now, I should have grouped everything else first. So let's just let's Control G. We'll call this Ghetto Blaster, and turn my caps lock off. Getting a bit excited. Okay, Control Shift C. Actually, what was the one? I think I actually made a modified version of this. Open. No. I think that's what we'll just work with this anyway. Control Shift C. Control Shift V. That didn't work. Select everything, Control Shift C. Center. Control Shift V. And then we want to scale it right the heck down. Alright, I think that's enough, and then we can just group all of these, Control G, call that cassette. We'll just scale all of these. I think it's looking pretty cool. I'm quite pleased with what we've got here. Let's find out the measurements. I believe I made this hole like 10 centimeters at the beginning, so let's measure it. So we'll go from this, roughly from the center point here to the center point here. About 1 foot. So yeah, 31 centimeters wide by 20 centimeters tall, give or take. So that's okay. And then I would probably scale the whole thing up by 15%. For a game asset. The size of a real world cassette. So this is the correct. This should be roughly the correct size of a real world cassette. Because I did that. If you were at the beginning of the stream, I spent about 20 minutes trying to fuck around with it. I think it's 10 centimeters across and 6.3 centimeters up, which is what this gap is. So this should be approximately, if we measure it, if I've done everything right, this should be approximately, hang on, no, not the material, F measure 10 centimeters across. Yeah, it's a little bit smaller than it should be, but the dimensions are right. Yeah, you can make the game assets real world size. That's fine. But if you're doing like a stylized environment, if you increase it the size of everything by 15%, it gives it like a sort of realism, cartoony crossover vibe. And for the scene that I'm working on, that's what I'll do. But if I release this on Sketchfab, it'll be real world size. But then if I release this as a download, it'll be the real world size. But if I release it as a what do you call it? If I release it as the for my project, I'll do that within the game engine. So at the moment, this is roughly what size it would be. I'd probably just edit it to be the tape to be the correct dimensions, and then going on from there, I would further edit the mesh later on if I needed to. So what I might do, I might end the stream there. I'll probably add some detail paneling to this later on, and then later on, later tonight, I'll come back on stream and yeah, I'll probably use UE5. I usually use Unity, but I'm kind of like I want to be able to use high poly count and more sort of detailed meshes. So really, I've got to learn a little bit of Unreal to make I don't know, learn how to make some game systems. But I really would like to use Unreal for the graphics engine, like mostly, you know. And Unity's been iffy. They don't really test their new features properly. They need, like, you know, with Epic, they release their Fortnite, which tests all the new features. Where with Unity, it's like they'll start a new feature and then drop it some months later. So it's very annoying. So I have tried Godot. I'm not much of a coder though, so I like the blueprints and stuff like that, and using visual scripting. I use like a visual scripting plugin for Unity. Although with the advent of ChatGPT, you know, I've learned a bit of Python by using ChatGPT, and that helped me build the add-on that I made. To be honest, ChatGPT didn't really spit out any useful code, but it gave me the right direction where I could, you know, Google it and figure out the answer for myself. So I think we're going to save Ghetto Blaster 1.plasticity here, and we'll reconvene later on tonight, probably tomorrow for you overseas people. And we'll do some texturing. We'll probably do a little bit more paneling on this before I do that. But thanks everybody for joining, and I'll see you in the next one. Woohoo! Cheers.